I have to admit, I like going back and thinking about thinking about FanFest. I really wish that I had done some kind of like clearly over the top reaction to the Dark Knight announcement, because like because the thing is like looking back on it, I was very quiet when they did it, because I was recording at the time and I didn't want to get my reaction on the recording. But like looking back on it, I should have bum rushed the stage and great, awesome, cool. I should have bum rushed the stage and like ripped my shirt off and just went fucking ape shit. Just Dark Knight, just like running all over the place and just made a spectacle of myself. That was the one thing that I regret, because because I realize in hindsight there's never going to be another announcement for 14 that's going to get me as hype as that ever will. And so yeah,
not even Samurai.
No,
go, you got it.
Not even close. Not even close.
Not even Samurai.
I think we'll
maybe
probably
I might
hear
just
about
be a
the
DPS whore. God damn. Maybe. I don't know. I'm hyped for it.
If they can successfully showcase Blue Mage, I will.
Oh, I would love that,
dude. Don't.
It's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Red Mage is gonna happen before that, and that's gonna probably be the mage you're gonna get.
Yeah, no, Sly's right. I think it's gonna be Red Mage, not for any of the reasons that Skuro gave earlier, because those were all dumb. But but no, I do think that we are gonna see Red Mage at some point.
I think we'll see Blue Mage, because so far Square Enix have proven themselves they can pretty much do anything at this point.
It's like saying we're gonna get Calculator.
Well, because it's not going to matter. It's not.
That's a good point.
Like, it's not going to matter. You're just going to have different skills that you do in different order. Like, it's just going to have a slightly modified rotation from every other DPS in this game. Like, that's the thing, is that most of the jobs just play exactly the same. So, you know,
we need a hybrid slot. Is what
if you can get a job,
it'll never happen.
If you can get a job to collect abilities from enemies, I'm all over that.
Oh my god.
No, because it's not. It will never ever do that. It won't ever do that, because all you're gonna have is a series of quests that make it seem like you're learning a job by presentation of the cutscene alone. That's it. Exactly. That's the only thing that you're gonna get. It's gonna be the same cutscene. Go here, kill this, and then you quote unquote learn something from that. So instead of having an NPC to grant you the skill, you quote unquote learn the skill.
What they might do, if they even do Blue Mage, is during a fight you put like a buff on there that gives you a one-time ability.
No.
Like that'll be like some kind of a skill that you do.
No way.
It's not going to be anything crazy.
No way. You're just going to have a set of skills that you quote unquote learn through cutscenes. That's it. I mean, like, that's the way that you could make. But there's not going to be anything like in 11 where you had to like back tank mobs until and have them hit you with moves until you just learn it. Like that will never ever ever happen.
Well, why not make a move like Lancet in 10? You just do a certain ability to an enemy and you learn a new attack.
Because Mori was a hybrid Blue Mage / Dragoon.
Because
I bet you can't.
Well, why not? Because it breaks the mold too much. Like, I mean, Square Enix clearly doesn't want to like break the mold too much with the jobs that they add. And so yeah, like I doubt that you would ever see a mechanic like that brought back for any reason.
They're never going to over-innovate it.
You take Astrologian, they have the draw card thing, right? Like, so they shuffle the thing. Well, just have that be for the Blue Mage. Whenever they cast this steal ability thing, it just gives you a roulette of an ability. Like, that's the only cheapest thing that I could see them doing.
Dude, you're over. Why would you? Why would you? You just make bad breath the fucking dot. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you just name the abilities after what fucking mobs do. That's it. That's all you have to do. Blue Mage, done. And then
they're never going to do it. That's the thing. It's like they're never going to put Blue Mage in the game.
No, they clearly can. It's just not going to be what you want. It's not going to be this like complex thing that adds a degree, like that adds a mechanic to the game. No, you're going to unlock it through quests like every other job, and it's going to play slightly differently. but it's still going to do the exact same shit.
Yes.
Not worth it.
Toolbar is just going to have beast-like moves as the names, and they're going to have different animations, which is going to be kind of cool. And that's about it. And I would be totally cool with that. I really would.
I would not.
As long as there's actually abilities to it that make it different than every other standard DPS. Like having at least a little bit of survivability, anything.
But how do you have the expectation for an 11 blue mage in 14?
Warrior is the only reason why I have that expectation at all, because that job is broke as fuck.
Wait, why?
That job has survivability built into it. It has fucking DPS built into it. It has tank ability built into it. That's just
because of what.
And I agree.
That has nothing to do with what you're talking about. Like you know what I mean? Like yes, it has it has some of those aspects, but like
that would be enough for me though.
But no, I'm asking where you're getting the expectation for an 11 style blue mage. Like you're just talking about a blue mage that can hold flex positions. That's not going to happen because they're not going to break the Trinity that breaks the fucking game. Like that's just stupid.
Yeah, straight up, I'm not expecting 11 blue mage because I know it's never going to happen. I know essentially what it's going to be is you're going to unlock spells, quotation marks, through doing a fucking ability, like a little fight thing you do. You kill a mob, and all of a sudden you eat it, whatever the fuck, you absorb it, you get their ability. That's what it's going to be for that.
Yeah.
And they're going to be annoying as fuck fights, and it's going to be like spamming like silence or stun or some shit and annoy the fuck out of you, but it's going to be worth it. And then, I'm totally cool with that. It's just, I want to have more than just, hey, you're the new Dragoon or you're the new Monk. Like, that would suck to me. I would want to have...
That's what's going to happen.
Well,
that's what's going to happen probably to Samurai. I think Samurai is going to be the most... He's going to be the most, like, non-mobile DPS, melee DPS that... Because I take it from... God, what's his name? From Type 0.
Fuck.
Was overflowing.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was a beast. Damage was on point, but he was just so fucking slow and so fucking non-mobile.
Yeah,
I feel like that's gonna be the new Dragoon. You're not gonna have any like gap closers like Dragoon
I still think that Samurai is gonna be a tank because Yoshi basically said it was between Dark Knight and Samurai for the tank role on Heaven's Word, and they just went with Dark Knight.
But he did say that he was thinking back on that, and that's why they delayed it, was because they're looking more towards the DPS side, and he's considering that more now. He did say it in like an interview thing.
Yeah, I remember him saying something like that.
Never said that. Or I never saw that. I'm not saying I don't believe you or that you're lying. I never saw that, so I can't speak to that. But since they had originally developed it as a tank, and what else are you gonna if you put Samurai at DPS, what are you gonna put as a tank?
They might not add a new tank.
They're probably not going to. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see
more at E3 or no.
No.
My big thing is, who here thinks that they're actually going to put Red Mage as a healer?
Unfortunately, I think that's probably what's going to happen.
I would be so fucking surprised though if they made it just it's a healer, and maybe it can do some DPS stuff like Bard can fucking buff, whatever the fuck that means.
Well, look at Summoner. Summoners can heal. So I don't know.
Yeah, heal's a strong word with Summoner, dude.
They can support, they can raise, they can do some stuff.
They can raise. Okay,
that's the closest thing that we have to a hybrid class, but
yeah.
Well, astrology is kind of the closest thing we have to well, no, not even a hybrid. They're they're the closest thing we have to a support class.
You just don't have any dedicated buffers and debuffers. That's what I would imagine a bard, an actual bard to be.
Because
to be so bad was to be a debuffer.
But a class like that can't survive in 14.
It can if we had six player parties.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a really easy thing to adjust. Let's just adjust all of the content.
I'm just saying it would make more sense.
It wouldn't happen, but in that case,
let's just make Final Fantasy 11 Part 2. So we just want the jobs from Final Fantasy 11. We want 6 player parties.
I would love that though.
Yeah,
that's me though. But I would love the shit.
Don't change shit. Don't change shit. No. Please.
Like I would love
Never.
for there to be a legit buffer and debuffer.
I'm just
never gonna have. Why?
Realistically,
like, why would you? Why would you even? Why would you even entertain these ideas? That's the thing that blows my Scro. This is the thing that blows my mind about you. I have no idea why you would even allow yourself to dream that dream. Okay, I'm not trying to. Listen, I'm not trying to shit on your.
dreams, dude. I'm sorry.
Listen, Skrull. I'm not trying to shit on your dreams, but let me shit on your dreams for a second, because it's fucking ridiculous to even think that would even be a remote possibility. To even want to even like put your heart to even like want that shit out of this game. You can't even do that. Like, your expectation has to be set way fucking lower than that. Like, it should have this, it should have... Well, okay, that's nice. Like...
It's nice to dream.
Yeah. Okay, it's nice to dream, but you gotta keep your dreams realistic. You know? It's like if I had the chance to talk to young Skro, and young Skro was like, I'm gonna go to college, and I'd be like, wait a second, bud. Hang on. Let's just readjust those expectations down and say line item cook. Let's start there, okay?
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll go to a dark place there with my college.
Yeah, if I could tell my younger self, is like, hey, just get straight into being a cleaner at a school. You'll get places faster.
For me, I would have just said, bro, community college. Really think on it.
Hey, Aniero, do you have the strength to do at least one more dungeon?
Yeah, I could probably do one. Why? What are we doing? It depends on what we're doing.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Because I was thinking Lost City hard mode, but I could do something else if you don't want to. Or actually, can we do it? I haven't done my expert yet. Has anyone here?
Yeah, that's fine. I can do an expert.
I haven't done the expert yet, but then again, I don't get home until after 11:30, so that'd be fun.
All right, let's do it. More bullshit.
Well, no, but that's you gotta round out those expectations and be okay. You gotta like get into the head of Square Enix. Like, what are they realistically gonna do? None of those things.
That's the thing.
We can probably wait.
Why even put it out there to be like to like get your hopes up?
This is the thing. Is things like Diadem. Like, I would love to see the game go and make a complete shift from where this bullshit is with the fucking roulettes and the goddamn tone grinds and all that other shit. I know, when I pitched Blue Mage, I knew for a fact it was never going to be like an 11 fucking job. I knew that. So that's why when I pitch it like as if it's a fucking DPS class. There's things in it that I would love to see, but I doubt that I will.
Okay, but
I'm still not going to not pitch those.
Let me stop you there. Okay, do you remember in the run up to Heavensward when people were like, "Hey, Aniero, what would you want to see out of Heavensward?" And I said, I'd really like to see Dark Knight. And then they announced Dark Knight, and everyone's like, well, what do you want it to be? And I'm like, okay, it's like maybe a magic tank. Like, my expectations were set so low. Like, people were like, well, what? Really? What? On the first pull, is this going to be like a theme? Just let Aniero die on the first pull every time?
Oh my god.
So on that note, I finally got to the episode where Jux is like, what if they introduce Dark Knight? You're like, no fucking way are they putting Dark Knight.
See, that is how low my expectations were set for this game once upon a time. I said, no, they're never going to add Dark Knight. And when they did, I lost my tits. I was so like surprised and excited and hyped, okay? So I allowed myself to be surprised and excited by setting my expectations nice and low. I said, they'll never add Dark Knight. And then they did, and people were like, oh, but what kind of moves do you want it to have? Is there things from 11 that you would like to see brought back? And I was like, yeah, I think I want it to have a sword. Do you understand how low my expectations were? I was like, I wanted to have a sword and maybe use some magic sometimes. Like,
if they made it just for Aniero, being like, you know what, he loves that bastard sword, let's put that shit in there too.
Yep. I don't know. I think they're just drawing themselves into a corner. You know, how much longer can we go through the same exact thing?
Till 4.0! Till 4.0. That's the answer.
No, but
that's the answer.
4.0 is going to do the same thing.
Pray that they're going to do something different for 4.0. That's the only hope that you have, and if they don't do something different for 4.0, this is the game that we have.
This is going to be the new 11, essentially.
No.
And it's going to be over.
What are y'all expecting out of 4.0? I mean,
I want to see classes.
I'm expecting
the jobs optimized. Not a Hail Mary. Like they're not adding jobs.
Okay, let's just everyone talk at the same time. I heard in there what are my actual expectations for 4.0? To get some new zones, to get some new jobs, and for something to change somehow. Zemlis, will you please fucking heal me? Thank you. Jesus.
Together. I expect it to be the TOAU of 14. Yep.
No, I think that's set the bar a little bit too high there, buddy. I think that's a little...
Oh, really, Skuro setting the bar too high? That's shocking.
Yep. Telling you right now, that's what I expect. The TOAU of 14. It better have events, new classes. Yep.
No,
take your
don't.
hopes up in smoke,
bro. That is such a bad expectation to have for 4.0. You're going to be very disappointed. This is why I have to talk you off the edge after every goddamn update. And you're sitting around going, "Oh, it's terrible. This is the worst update." No, actually, it's not that bad. No, it's terrible. This is why. They didn't add anything to Diadem. Well, they're not going to add anything to Diadem in this patch.
But they should.
No, but they should have. See, I'm making your arguments for you. Jesus Christ.
God,
you are so predictable.
Man.
How are you crotchety and older than me? That's an impressive feat.
That is an accomplishment, yeah.
I don't know if that's much of an accomplishment there, to be honest
for me, I point out the negatives of the patch, and I also point out the positives.
You point out more negatives than positives in the time I've known you.
Half the time you're pointing out negatives, you don't know what you're talking about. And it takes like 25 minutes of like 5 people going, "No, Skuro, you're wrong, and this is why." Every patch. I swear. Okay, next patch, I'm gonna take a poll. I'm gonna take a bet among the LBR hosts, and we're gonna take bets and see what feature pisses Skuro off in this one. Is it gonna be the additions or non-additions to X event? What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be some nerfs that a job did or didn't get? Oh, the fucking machinist didn't get enough. Well, what the fuck do you want?
Well, spoilers, it's definitely going to be Diadem, because they're never going to please me.
No, they actually did announce at some point that they're not doing anything for Diadem from this point on.
No, they did not. They said they're going to do it.
Where? You link me to that article, or else I will never fucking believe you. In fact, double source that shit. Because if you just link a single article from DualShockers, I'm gonna kick you the fuck out of our link shell.
Damn.
They said 3.2 or 3.4 they'd be doing Diadem adjustments. That was stated in their
adjustments. I was saying about something like new zones.
That's that I would love, but
that's been speculation from day one. I don't think that they would add new zones personally.
I think they're just gonna add new mobs or new NM things instead. Because honestly, they only have 3 fucking NMs in that whole area, which is bullshit.
Because I remember I might be wrong, which
you probably are.
Oh, bite me.
You normally are.
Bullshit.
Language.
Wait. Skuro, I have to ask this.
Yes.
Because you probably hated everything about it. What didn't you like about 3.2?
3.2?
Yes. You have a list.
Well, yeah, there were. I think I can tell you, he had a problem with the machinist buffs for a minute. He had a problem with the paladin adjustments for a minute. He absolutely did not like PvP. He did not think that was a worthwhile addition. That's just deathmatch. That's just deathmatch by another name. This is bullshit. Come on, man. How many fucking different things do we have to walk you down from?
Hold on. I never said it was a bad addition. I just said there was better options they could have gone with.
Like what?
Oh, it's just team deathmatch. Man.
Anything that's more objective based, much like Frontline.
There is an objective.
Not really.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
Oh, sure there is. There is a metagame. Dude, there's a metagame.
Okay, if it was off of fucking kills alone, I would be a fucking beast. Either way. I mean, fuck, I'm already a little bit of a beast. But shit, like, I could go ham in a match and we still fucking lose. There's an objective when I go ham and we still get fucked.
Well, yeah,
5 kills and we still lose? Fuck that. There's an objective.
Yo, anyone playing League of Legends knows that you're gonna have.
No, don't bring up League of Legends. Come on.
You're gonna be the one beast, and there's all those fuckers in your team that are complete shit. And you gotta carry them.
But it's not even about the carry. It's not even about the carry. There is a fleshed out objective. It's medals. You get the medals. You kill somebody, get the medals.
Yeah, but that's Call of Duty like dog tag collecting, dude. Like it's no different.
It's still a fucking objective.
What? No, it's not.
Oh my god!
Wow! Did you just really say that? It is so fucking not that feature. It's not at all that feature. Because Call of Duty was 100% cosmetic. You just got fucking bragging rights for killing some dumb motherfucker. There's actually like there are debuffs that come along with having heavy metal. There's an actual like. If you're paying attention to who has heavy metal and who has more metals, there's an actual game of protection and keep away. What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
I just said why there is. There's also 2 levels, and there's stuff that spawns on the bottom level that people are just starting to.
But nobody even goes to the bottom level unless they get knocked.
They're starting. Wow. Apparently you're not queuing. People are starting to use the bottom level more and more and more efficiently and effectively. Just because you got a couple of shitty queues where they just fucking ran at each other like, you know, hey, this is a new event, we don't know what's going on. Like, that's basically all you played.
Okay, to be fair, yeah. Like, to be honest, though, that was not even my biggest complaint of the patch.
What was?
Just the fact that, again, like, there was just, like, the repeat of, you know, you have your fucking summon, you have your new Gordius, coils, whatever the fuck, and that was it. But to be honest, after doing Midas, I was actually a lot more pleased with what they did with the mechanics. But again, that's from the onset of like the actual patch that was actually.
But again, where do you get this expectation that Square Enix is going to shake it up? Okay, like you could have that expectation if the game was performing way worse than it is. If there was, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe you have just like a different sense of how many people are leaving, but not that many people are leaving or unsubbing. At least not enough to really compel. Really, don't give me that noise. Don't give me that noise. Because objectively, if enough people were leaving, Square Enix would change their game plan, and they're not. That's all the proof that you need that enough people are making this game solvent. And so Square Enix is going to always play the middle.
I've seen more people join Final Fantasy 14 this month alone.
Yeah.
Than I have, more people are joining.
Where the fuck were they 3.1? Where were they?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
3.1 was a weak ass patch.
That was a thing. You know, that was a thing that happened.
That was then. This is now, man. You can't compare the two.
Not to the point where you have to drastically, from the ground up, rework all of your content. Like you keep talking. No. Hang on. No, because this is legitimately.
I gotta use the washroom.
This has legitimately annoyed me in the past because you come up with all these grandiose things and they sound really cool on paper. And they're good ideas. They're not bad ideas. But the problem is that there is no impetus for Square Enix to do an iota of this shit. This is why, the things that I suggest are things that Square Enix can reasonably do to affect small changes in what they already have. And what you keep talking about is a complete reworking of the content from the ground up, which is a completely unrealistic expectation.
Is Zemil's
Zemil's is not paying attention at all.
What's he doing? He said he went to the bathroom.
In the middle of a poll?
I could not.
He actually said it, but y'all were talking.
Well, put that shit in party chat then.
Yeah.
In his party.
Yeah, I don't know whose voice is who. You can't just say, hey, I'm leaving. There's like 7 people in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although for as long as he was AFK, we kept up for as long as we did. It's pretty not bad.
I don't know about you, but I'm still up.
That was unexpected. Really
most of the time, an MMO is made or broken by the second expansion pack. So hopefully this is a really good one and you don't take a misstep. But that's just me.
They're locked into the content pattern that they have until 4.0. Like, there's no way. There's literally no way out of that. So, like,
I agree with that. I completely agree. But the next expansion is their opportunity to get out of that.
Yeah, no. You're right. You're right. And I think at that point, like, if they decide to just keep going on in the same pattern, there's going to be a real difficult discussion inside of the community that goes, okay, is this game still worth playing? Like, 3-4 years out. And that's not going to be an easy discussion, and no one's going to be happy with it.
Even from 50 to 60, they fundamentally changed the way our jobs played.
But they didn't change anything about the way that content was presented.
I agree.
And that's something that absolutely does need to change. Like, not trying to pick on you, Skuro. Like, you're not wrong about a lot of stuff, but it's more, it's more like, okay, like, you got to think, dude. Square Enix has had this content specifically planned out for at least 2 years leading up to this, so they can't exactly abandon that if they just have a dull patch like they had in with 3.1.
Yeah. No, when you mentioned that, because you heard my over the top ideas, and when you mentioned that to me, I was like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I was like, that's why I don't expect anything big this patch. I'm trying to kind of tune it down a little bit because, I'm setting myself up for a lot of disappointment.
Well, see, that's the thing is, I've heard this before. You have your head in the clouds and your feet in the mud, and that is completely okay. But the thing is, with a game like this, we honestly don't know what they're going to do for 4.0, and I'm excited because I'm hoping, I'm realistic in that it could just be more of the same. Yeah. That's fine. The game's fun, but I'm hoping that they've realized they can't keep going in this direction because they are just putting themselves in a corner that they're not going to be able to get out of.
And see, that's the thing is that criticism didn't really exist in the 2.0 era because it couldn't. Like, we had the only thing that we had to compare it to was 1.0, and everyone was just going, oh my god, this is so much better than that piece of crap 1.0.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was most of the feedback. So now, like, you've got to think, like, they made Heaven's Word without much feedback at all about A Realm Reborn. That's pretty fucking impressive. And so they went with basically what worked at the time and what was still working for A Realm Reborn, and they doubled down on it. Now, with 4.0, they would have had a good couple of years worth of feedback and criticism to be able to rely on from their most hardcore base. And I think that, that's really what they should be paying attention to. Whether they do or not remains to be seen.
And that's a concern I have. Yeah.
Well, but I mean that's not that's never a surefire thing. Like that's always. If it was Square Enix or Bethesda, I mean, it wouldn't make any bit of difference. Unseen content, untested content is always going to be kind of nerve-wracking. Like, that's just normal.
But at the same time, I'm not expecting a drastic change in 4.0. Like, I'm not expecting them to go, the complete other end of the spectrum. I'm still expecting a few of the same things content-wise, but slow, progressive change.
Here's actually my real expectation for 4.0 is that it will be Square Enix's turning point from supporting the middle and beginning parts of this game to supporting the long-term, long-haul players. Because at this point, here's the one thing that can fuck it up, though. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier, if 14 comes to 360, Square Enix could look at that as like, oh, we need to get the 360 players acclimated so we can continue the content pattern. But I really think that they at some point need to double down and double the amount of content that is given at the end game and lighten up on the amount of mid-core popcorn content that just gets shoveled out with the next patch.
But the problem with bringing the 360 crowd in is, like, I feel like they're going to get, stuck in, playing catch-up with people. Having people...
Oh, of course. Of course. Oh, yeah. But the thing is, though, and a lot of that same concern was raised when 360 players were added to the pool of players for 11. And it ended up really, like, when you think about it, it extended the life of that game by a good 3 years. Like, it injected enough population into that game and kept not just Xbox players playing, but the injection of population kept long-term players playing as well.
The problem is, like, mid-core, the definition of mid-core in this game is so fucked. Because, you remember when Kala was in, like, oh yeah, roulettes are mid-core. That's not fucking mid-core content.
No, it's not. It's popcorn content, yeah.
Yeah. That is shit by saying taking up and doing leveling shit. That's not mid-core. Like, mid-core was like Nizul, it was Assaults, it was all that shit from like TYU. That was the biggest focus of that.
No, but I mean, if you had to define what a mid-core would be in 14, it would be like normal mode Alexander. That's what I would consider mid-core.
Okay, yeah.
But by saying 360 players, you mean Xbox One, right?
No, he means 360.
No, 360. I was using 360 players as an example from back in the 11 days, because there was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a time when it was just PS2 and PC players that were playing on 11, and then they added 360 support. So if 14 ends up adding Xbox One players, it will have, I think, much the same effect, where the population injection will help just overall keep people playing.
Yeah. They just really need to focus a lot more on mid-core. Like, not even just endgame. Like, endgame would be nice, but just a firmer establishment of mid-core.
I think they've made so much of the... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, I thought it's just... Right now, the content is all casual. Even, like, normal Alexander, Midas, or Gordius, like, it really treads the line of being casual content. Anyone could...
It is.
But here's a question, though.
The only mid-core right now is, like, EX Primals. That's the only thing I would consider, like, mid-core at all.
And most people can't even get that shit right anyway.
Exactly.
But
That's the point.
Xbox One, though, I believe would have a slight edge over PS4 players due to their new controller having the 4 buttons on the back.
So, do they have an advantage over me and my mouse and keyboard and MMO mouse?
No.
Okay, well then,
No, not over mouse and keyboard.
Right. So and yet PS4 players and PC players play on the same servers. So the whole idea of like, oh well, since there's hardware differences, then it's going to give some. You know what? We got to just let that shit fall by the wayside.
It doesn't give an edge, dude. I played on Xbox, I played on PlayStation, I played on fucking PC. There's no fucking edge.
Well, like
not a mouse, like just a keyboard. That's it.
Dude,
it's a difference, but it's not an edge.
Dude, an MMO mouse makes the fucking difference playing this game, like versus just your regular old ass mouse. You know what I mean? Like even true. That makes a noticeable difference. So it's like really, how much are we going to keep using that straw man as a reason to not connect to games amongst multiple consoles?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I can see it maybe for shooters. That's the only competitive shooters. That's really like it. And even then, who gives that much of a fuck? I'd much rather have the fun factor of playing against, my friend who bought it on PC because that's what he owns, and I have it on PS4. It would be much more fun to play that way than to be really concerned of like, oh well, fine tuning and balancing and fuck it, whatever. My kill death ratio is a little bit lower. Who cares?
Yeah, I agree.
They did do it before with Shadowrun on Vista and Xbox 360.
Is that right?
That was the great game. Oh yeah.
Didn't know that.
I was the only Vista player that was playing, and everybody on 360 was like, "Play with me! I want the achievement."
Another example is like Phantasy Star Universe did that between PC and PS2.
But that's a different thing though.
Yeah, like I'm talking like literally it's the exact same game regardless of the hardware. Sort of like 11, 11 is really the only game that I can think of that has been truly cross-platform. You know what I mean?
And Microsoft hated that shit too because they got fucked out of their membership.
Yep, they sure did.
You had the silver membership, and that fucked their whole concept of everything.
But that was literally the only game that you could play online with a silver membership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the one I can think of offhand. Yeah, for sure.
It's not bothering me, but is someone playing music in the background? Because I'm catching it.
Yeah, I am.
Probably
okay, so it is coming through you.
It's also running a stream, so.
Well, I can just play it on the stream for you guys. There you go. I'll play it through Discord so you can hear it. No. I'm kidding. I'll mute it.
Over you.
It's most people don't hear the music.
I didn't hear it at all. Maybe it's because I'm listening to the stream.
Could be.
I don't know. I'm just somehow like catching it faintly.
No, if you have good ear, I catch shit that nobody else catches. So
yeah. Aniero, I have a question now.
Yeah. What's up?
You're talking about 4.0, which you would want to see in it. So, what do you think is going to be able to be introduced that can bring that end game and mid-core group?
I just think a greater emphasis on what would be considered what Square Enix would consider end game content. Not even what we would consider end game content, but what they would consider end game content. Like a de-emphasis on this Lords of Verminion shit. A de-emphasis on on like Stone, Sky, and Sea. Like those are quality of life. Like Stone, Sky, and Sea is a quality of life adjustment that literally nobody asked for.
They asked for it, but they asked for something completely.
Yeah, they asked for a fucking parser. There's no number attached to it. It's not a parser. It's not what anyone asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Lords of Verminion is. It has to be the least used thing in this game. It has to be.
And I think what pissed me off about Stone Sky Sea is they didn't even attach an achievement to it. I'd have been fine with an achievement.
I think there is for all of them.
I would have been fine if they would have attached that.
There is no achievement. I've completed several of them and got nothing.
There's literally no reason for that system entirely.
I would see it being okay if it was attached to the instance somehow.
But there
is an attachment.
Well, yeah.
Is it?
HP. That's it.
That's it.
No. I mean, like as a key to go through that door in particular. If they would have made that a little better, that would have been perfect.
See, like it's wild because you compare it with the Hall of Novice, which all of us on the show completely blew that feature off when we heard about it. We were like, that's stupid. Maybe the Stone Sky and Sea thing might be cool, but fuck, that's dumb. And that ended up being a way better feature than Stone Sky and Sea. And it's just like it seems like at some point someone on the dev team would have gone, why are we actually making this? Like, what purpose is this actually serving?
My thing is if
Go ahead.
don't be throughout like abilities like that the fucking fight does, or maybe generate like little kind of little bot things that you would share the tether with this person or something.
Yeah,
that would be fucking useful. Even if it doesn't like teach you like, okay, this is what you got to do to hit the DPS cap. That's fine, but as long as it teaches you the fucking mechanics and how to DPS while doing the fucking mechanics. The fact it does none of that.
No, you can just stand there. You just stand there and you just beat up a dummy.
Whoops.
Yeah, that teaches you fucking nothing. Nothing.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Well, I'm not even play devil's advocate. From experience, I've gone into Midas Savage maybe twice, A5. First time I did a pug, like shits and gigs. Just want to see what the shit was like.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a harsh lesson for people who didn't know their job. I told them, maybe try Stone Sky Sea. See a little bit. It's not going to teach you mechanics, and that's fine, but it will give you an idea of where you need to be. And if you're not there, it's going to let you know. And it did. For a few people, it did, and it does. It's not the useful tool that we asked for, but it helps somewhat.
Now, when you weigh the development of Stone Sky and Sea against the potential for anything else to be added to the game, that's where to me Stone Sky and Sea becomes a bit indefensible, because it didn't add enough. You're right, Sly. Like, it added value for a handful of players, and there are some people who will be able to get something out of that. But it didn't add enough of a quality of life value. It didn't add enough of that to really justify getting that instead of another piece of content, which is maybe not fair. I'll cop to it may not exactly be fair, right? Because, like, you can't just say, oh, divest resources from this and put it into that. That's a great thing to say in hindsight. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I definitely recognize that, but by the same measure, it does seem like of the features we get two. For Heaven's Word, we get 2 dungeons. We get either an Alexander raid or a Void Ark raid, and then this like hanging thing, which
I don't think much development was really spent on Stone Sky and Sea. I think it was just like a little someone did on their. Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just a whole.
It's just a soup. Yeah, but it's just a zone. You have to understand, as a game developer, you're reusing a ton of assets. I mean, half that stuff is already in the game. So all they did was just put a health value on it and then say you have 3 minutes to reach this value, and then there you go. You can pass
hype they put on that shit, like during
people hyped it up. I don't think
people hyped it up.
The developers didn't hype that up. That was just something simple.
I don't know. You look at the producer, the live letter, like it was there frequently, and they put a good amount of depth into it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I tend to think about it. Is how does Square Enix try to sell these features? If it's a feature that they're making a fucking trailer for, like Lords of Verminion, like that's very clearly. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to really put that in the limelight. And that's what really annoys me, because if they that's how they're selling it, and they think of it as a big piece of content, as a big piece of big content injection.
I think people are going to lose their shit over it, and they didn't. big
I don't know.
surprise. Just like
They put a ton of development time into the Ultimate Fight Final Fantasy 14. Remember that thing where it was like a fully functional fighter with like limit breaking animations, everything like that? Like, where was that? You know, like where did they actually put all the resources there? I think that, you know, Stone Sky and Sea, it was, while it looks, you know, polished, it wasn't a very big development at all.
Probably no. You're probably right. You're probably right. But when they're packaging that as a third of your update, like it's sort of like it's like their version of padding. You know what I mean? Like they have.
It's totally padding.
So are the new recipes though. That's every fucking tag.
But that's content padding. I don't think that's necessarily the same thing. Like, you get new recipes, and that's basically adding content for crafters. But the way that they spin it, like they make it a significant part of the overall trailer for 3.2, and they go, "Oh, this is a main feature of 3.2." And I want to go, no. You can't sell that as a main feature. It's not a main feature. And if you took that off the main features list, boy, 3.2 starts looking a lot smaller. You know what I mean?
Here's the feats. It would have been just the feats. That's it.
Like it feels like, in a way, it's sort of done to save face, and that's the part of it that I don't like.
Sure. That's exactly what it was. And the thing is, you know, remember back when 2.0 was announced, we had the entire timeline of when everything was coming. Right? Yeah. We don't see that anymore. No. And the reason for that is, and if we did, we'd be highly disappointed, because that 7-week hiatus that they took, or the vacation, or however long it was, really set them back on their development table.
Well, not only that, but it goes back on the premises of their promise that they said every single patch that comes out, you know, will be a fair size of an actual game or some other like that. And it really hasn't quite been like that for the case.
You know what? They should have learned that shit from 11, dude. Like, welcome to fucking Summons, Primals, like, what was it, Kate Sith and fucking Atomos? Like, that shit was promised for 3 fucking years before they finally fulfilled it.
I mean, they're doing their best. You gotta give them some credit. You know, they're making the best MMO out right now.
No,
they're doing better than most.
You're right. That. You're absolutely right on that front. But it doesn't, you know, like, it doesn't mean that they can start slacking or stop making the best MMO. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
And so, you know, when you ask, like, what do I expect out of 4.0, like that, I think that I don't expect any of that, and that's just that's the direction personally I think the game needs to go in to be viable for the future. And I say that as a fan of FF14, but I also say that as someone who has watched the development of MMOs for 15 fucking years. Casually, as a fan. I'm not an expert in this shit. If you want to call me an expert in anything, I might loosely be able to be called an expert in bits of 11 and 14. But that's about it. You know, I know my shit there. And I've played a lot of other MMOs casually, but not to the degree that I play this. And just watching their development and watching the way, you know, and I think not being personally invested actually kind of helps in that too. Is that, like, I can watch a lot of these games just fall and crumble and do poorly and be like, oh, well, this is why, you know? There's a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if 4.0 was literally just another dungeon grind, I would probably still play this sheerly for the fact that the LBR community that I love being a part of. But I would be kind of disappointed because, like, you know, there's such an opportunity here to really grow this for the future, like you said. And for them not to take it would just be disappointing.
Yeah, like
I would probably fucking game. I would, but I just would be disappointed.
The only thing with that is, you know, if it were another dungeon grind, that'd be completely okay. But what we need some kind of something to figure out. You know, we need our jobs to be more unique, so that, you know, when you go into a raid or something like that, maybe the party makeup matters, or, you know, maybe one job brings something to the table that if you don't have at that point, you have to change up your strategy with something else. Right?
I mean, really surprised they did that.
I don't disagree with that, but I feel like they've been making jobs more and more and more samey in defense of the idea that it's more fair and ubiquitous for everyone, which is fine. That's a completely valid dev approach. So I think what I think I would like to not see the jobs touched at all. I don't want to see a level cap raise because too much content is hidden behind that level cap raise. You know, like we have like 4 or 5 dungeons from 50 to 60 that are kind of useless outside of leveling from 50 to 60, right? So instead of emphasizing like we've got to grow our characters more, say, all right, that's a good level cap. Let's concentrate on the content that exists for that level set instead of throwing all of your old content out like they did with 2.0 to 3.0 and just starting with a basically clean slate of like, let's make content for 60. You know what I mean? That didn't make much sense. I mean, I guess it did make sense, but at least I felt like
it was executed poorly. They abandoned. They actually executed it just fine. It's just I just disagree with the premise because it's all vertical progression as opposed to long-term or lateral progression. So sure. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be an expansion if they didn't increase the level cap. Just saying, but
that's not necessary.
No, they could.
No,
if they right now, I-300 and then just kept introducing like higher stat gear continuously, it would be just fine.
I think for an expansion, if they add new jobs, if they add new zones, if they add to the world, they don't need to add to the levels. They absolutely do not need to add to the levels. And that way you can concentrate on continuing to build content at that cap, and you don't have to worry about getting your player base from X to X. I think that is a very like rigid thought structure that's been applied since WoW. Like WoW sort of set that standard. Like, okay, you have an expansion, you got to raise the level cap. I don't think you need to do that.
No, I agree.
I definitely would love to see horizontal progression in this game.
Oh God, would we ever?
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Another reason I'd love to not see another level cap increase, because we already have too many abilities. They're probably going
ability bloat is pretty bad. Yeah,
exactly. That's why they need to revamp the jobs. And that's why. It just needs to be optimized.
I think
they
need
to structure them so that it's more focused each job.
Well, if they just
because we have ability overabundant.
Well, if they just add on to the current ones, though.
Samurai. If you look at 11, dude, you had Samurai. That was your main DPS. You had Ninja as your tank, or you had, Monk as a DPS. Like you had your set amounts. You had to have a Red Mage. You had to have a Bard. That was a thing. And if you were any other class, too fucking bad. Get a better class. Go level something else. That's why they're not going to put like a class that's, making them so diverse to where, okay, we might have to bring, like, say, the Dark Knight. We might have to bring the Paladin for this. They don't want to run to that situation again, which is they've completely voiced it over and over, that they don't want to make a class that basically no one wants to bring to anything.
Pretty much.
Rip it apart.
Well, we've already seen that, right? With between Paladin and Warrior.
And we do already see
it. Well, they don't even like it when we joke about it. They're like, please stop calling machinist garbage. Like, can you I'm waiting for the email that I get one day from Matt Hilton just being like, please, can you stop with the Dragoon jokes? Like, they're funny and we get it, but like, you're really making people not want to play the job. And we'd be like, no, but they're still funny.
I mean, I'll give you some insight real quick. I used to work for Sony Online Entertainment, so I worked on EverQuest 2 and PlanetSide 2. And the development, when you're working as a game developer, you kind of see what Final Fantasy XIV does, and it really works. How they're structuring everything. I can just see long term they're putting themselves in a hole, And unless they did horizontal, there's not much more they can really do at this point, other than that.
See, I Black Fugo in the chat saying, what's the point of new zones if you can't even level in them? That's wasted content. Who's really going to go into zones if it's all if all it is level 60 perks? No new moves, no nothing. Pointless to add new zones if you can't level and fully experience the zone and story while leveling. See, now this is where if you double down on the end portion of your content, and I'm not even saying end game like savage level stuff, but I'm saying stuff to do at level 60 or whatever that cap is, right? So if you design zones that are dangerous at level 60, then passing through them and existing in them becomes the intrinsic challenge, and they become far more enigmatic zones in and of themselves.
Change of Promathia.
Exactly. Exactly.
Out of our fucking mire, how scared shitless were you walking through that shit?
I remember having to dodge imps. That was a pain in the shit. They were true sight. There's no way, if you caught aggro, you know that cackling, you knew, oh, I'm fucked. Unless you were a 75 blue mage, and then you could probably just shred them to shit if you were good enough.
I have never been more stressed out walking through a fucking zone to a Cat of Mire. That was the most bullshit zone ever.
I agree. Now let me ask you, have you ever experienced anything like that anywhere even close in FF14?
Hell no.
Nope. No. So
I did once in 1.0.
1.0, yes.
1.0 for sure. But here's the thing. So if you stop treating your zones as purely places that you pass through on your way to your level cap, then they actually like think about the zones that we have right now from 50 to 60. All of those Heavensward zones. Who hangs out in them? Who uses them? Who is in there right now? Like if we go out to let's take a little trip. Let's take a little trip out to Falcon's Nest. All right, let's see how many people are out in West Corthus right now, because it's not going to be many. Because there's no reason to.
There are reasons.
The only reason to be in like anything is the Vath right now, and that's fucking Geranium Fortlands.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. We have right outside. We have
gatherers. What the fuck?
We have a fate. We have a fate that has 12 minutes left and 0 progression and just NPCs fighting. This is good. We're off to a really good start here, guys. Because this zone, this beautiful and well-designed zone, is being used by so many fucking people right now, right? Oh, here we go. We've got another fate that hasn't started, that I'm sure has been around for at least 10 minutes. Let's go over to the statue. Who's hanging out next to the statue? No one. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Will we even see another player this entire time?
I don't think so. I mean, so that's the great thing about horizontal progression, right? Is you take an area and fates become, useful again. I think with the Aetheryte system, a lot of content is just bypassed, unfortunately, and you can't just take that away from the players now that it's so abundant. We don't even take airships anywhere anymore. We don't even have a ferry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. We're spoiled rotten.
Yeah, airships is a joke anymore. That's such a shame, because I remember in 11 you'd just sit there and it was like the fucking bus.
I remember missing an airship. You were just like, fuck
my life. Yep.
Yeah, you were kicking yourself in the dick. You're like, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna log off right here. I'm so pissed.
There's literally. I don't think that there's a single person out here.
I haven't seen anyone.
I've not seen.
There's no one there.
I've not seen a single person. So this zone is being utilized so well as a leveling zone. No, nobody does okay, yes, I'm sure maybe I might be able to find 1 or 2 sad motherfuckers that are grinding fates out here in West Corthus, but most people are going to level using dungeons.
Yeah, dude, even when it was relevant, no one was fucking...
That's because fates are so boring.
Could you imagine if Fates gave tomes?
Grind out dungeons all day than
Fates gave tomes.
What if Fates gave tomes?
Now imagine if this zone was actually like it was like challenging to get through, to pass through as a level 60 player. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is way more interesting. And if you concentrate your development in that area, then no, I don't think you do have to raise the level cap. That's just like purely dogmatic thinking based on what WoW has done to success in the past.
Right. I was being facetious when I suggested that.
Oh no. Somebody in the chat, Black Fugo was did challenge the idea. So.
Dude, I want a mammoth fight in this game. I want a game that beats the living fuck out of someone to where they can't do certain content until we fucking beat it.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be awesome if you had an alliance?
Literally puts their ass into the fucking ground over and over and either discourages them from playing that content at all, or they get good enough to be able to move on to better content. There is none of that, and that's a shame because in COP it was a thing.
Sorry for cutting you off, but I remember in 11. I loved the COP missions. They were hard as fuck, but God, was it so satisfying when you kicked the shit out of it. Before they nerfed it, that was.
When you beat the Tenzin fight, the fucking Ultima and Omega, when you beat fucking Mammoths.
Yep.
Those were like the most glorious fucking moments of your life.
Yep.
Like you were on cloud fucking 9.
I remember wiping and spending millions of gil on what was it, 6-4, the Mammoth, Omega, and Ultima fights. And oh my god, when we finally cleared it, I just went, fuck yeah! I just jumped up and down, screaming, pissed off my parents in the process.
Yep, I remember that. It took me 30 attempts to get that stupid fight down, and then to get to Tenzin, and it's like a one-shot, like, what is this?
No, Tenzin was a gimme fight. Now here's the thing, kind of backpedal a little bit with blue mages for 11. Like back then in that time frame, if you just had certain area access, you weren't getting certain spells.
You didn't have there were a lot of
shit.
And I remember unlocking C. I was level 70 blue mage, and that was my highest level at the time. And I was like, oh my god, I'm not a shit blue mage. I don't have to be a shit blue mage anymore. I farmed that area for hours getting Disseverment, Actinic Burst, all the essential spells to make your life easier as a blue mage, from auto refresh, high DPS, high damaging moves. Yeah.
Right now, we just don't have anything that like open world.
Yeah,
we don't have any place that's dangerous.
Yeah,
you don't need a group for anything up open world.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. As interesting as this conversation is, I've now spent 3 more hours talking about it than I intended to, and I still have stuff to do for Refresh. So if you want to be able to listen to Refresh tomorrow, I have to go.
I will wake up in the morning to watch it. So
I will try to wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, before 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm hopefully going to try to wake up tomorrow too to be able to do it. All right. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. If you've been hanging out in the chat, thank you so much to Slyaka for tossing that host out to us. Hit the follow button if you like what you've been watching or hearing or whatever. Come back and hang out on Tuesdays. We stream every Tuesdays here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio for Tuesday Reset Day, as well as each and every single Sunday for our live podcast. That goes down here on our Twitch channel. That starts at 1 p.m. this Sunday, March 20th. Join us for that. Also, make sure that you head on over to twitch.tv/Final Encountercast and check out what we got going on over there. Anything that's not Final Fantasy XIV, we basically stream over on that channel. We also talk about other video games on our other show, Final Encountercast. You can find shows of that show at finalencountercast.com, as well as podcasts of Refresh, which you can catch tomorrow morning live at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on Discord.
If you have a good night, Aniero.
Good night, homie.
All right, see you guys, and thank you guys for hanging out with me on stream. It's been a lot of fun.
We have to keep it rocking.
Have to keep it rocking so nobody comes tonight. Have to keep it rocking so nobody comes tonight.